Welcome to the third episode of this little mini-series on how to destroy this hospital. If you don't know what's going on right now, this is the third video. In the first video, I showed you how to add this layer of smoke on top of this hospital. In the second video, I showed you how to rip the side of the wall open and really destroy the building. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to set this window on fire with the help of some After Effects. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to put a digital fake graffiti on these walls. If you haven't watched the other videos and want to know how to get to this, be sure to watch them by clicking up here, taking a look down in the description, or wait until the end card. If you just want to know how to set a window on fire like this, we're going to do that right now. Okay, so first we drop in our fire asset. Mine was from the fire assets pack from Riot, which you can download in the Triune Store. Link to that is down in the description. This is not sponsored, but I can heavily recommend it. But you can of course use the assets of your choice. The first fire I took can be found in this pack in the folder Window Fires, Front, and there Window Big Front. It would be great if your fire pack has a window version like this one. You can also build up a fire with normal fire assets, but having a window fire makes it just easier. First I readjusted the fire and set the blending mode to screen. Here I have to tell you, as always, sorry my After Effects is in German. Last year when I did the screen recording, my channel was in German. Now I'm making English videos. Anyways, if you're confused about any of the terms I'm using, I'm mentioning every German on-screen term in English. If you're still confused, there's a translation script with every term from German to English or the other way around, linked down in the description. Anyways, first we pick ourselves our desired window, which we want to set on fire. Next we adjust our window fire to the window in our shot by sizing it down and adjusting the position and rotation. Then I'm using the burn mark textures volume 1 from ActionVFX. You can download them for free with the link in the description from their website. Again, it's still not sponsored, but take a look at them. They have great products and a lot of this stuff is free. So anybody likes free stuff. Then I'm sizing the burn mark texture down to fit around the window, put it behind the fire layer and set the opacity to around 80% to blend it in. Of course, this depends on your shot. Then I'm taking the lumetri color effect, the glow effect and the brightness and contrast effect and put it on the fire layer. My final adjustments, that of course also depends on your shot. Maybe my settings won't work for your shot, maybe you even think my settings don't work for my shot, lol. But I'm giving you the effects that I think are great for dialing in your fire and you can use them to your likings. Anyways, my settings for the lumetri colors are a color temperature of 204, a tint of -84, an exposure of 7, a contrast of -112, some highlights of 57, shadows of 103, whites to 69, I set the blacks to -17 and the saturation to 100. For the brightness and contrast settings, I set the brightness to 45 and the contrast to -79. And for the glow effects, I set the threshold to 65%, the radius to 448, the intensity to 2.2, and I left the rest as it was. Then I created a new mask around the bottom of the fire to cut it off right there. Inverted the mask and set the feathering to 5. Next I put a Gaussian blur on the fire and put it to 5 as well. Then I created a new adjustment layer, put it under the fire layer but above the burn mark layer. After temporarily setting the fire layer to invisible, I created a mask around the window on the adjustment layer. Next I put the lumetri color effect on the adjustment layer and set the temperature to 70, the exposure to 2.6, the highlights to 36 and the saturation to 100. And then I feathered the mask by 70 pixels. Then I duplicated the burn mark texture, sized it a little bit down and used a mask to cut it in half just to give the burn mark more depth. Now because my composition is longer than my fire asset and since the clip is not loopable, I duplicated it and blended it with the other fire just to extend it. Then I took the Smoke Plume 15 asset from the free Smoke Plume pack, also from ActionVFX, linked down in the description. I set the blending mode to multiply because the background was white. Next again I readjust the Smoke Plume just like the fire, set the opacity to 70%, I readjusted the time to 200 and also put an inverted feathered mask around the bottom of the smoke, but this time with way more feathering. Then I grabbed another fire, Fire 04, from Riot's pack, also setting the blending mode to screen, masking out the bottom, and then I copied and pasted the same settings from the other fire to this fire, but of course I went in and changed a lot of the settings. I also readjusted the settings from the other fire, the smoke, and I also duplicated the adjustment layer that lights the area around the fire and set it above everything to really glue everything together, and I also gave it a more reddish vibe. And now it comes to just changing it to your likings until it fits your scene the way you want. It's just trial and error. Fire effects are really hard and mine are still far from perfect, but this is just my way of approaching it. One more tip I want to give you is to try to intentionally overexpose the fire to make it seem more realistic, because in reality, if you were shooting a real fire on set, it probably would be very bright or nearly overexposed, because most camera sensors, even red cameras, even your eyes sometimes, can't handle this much of a difference between the bright and the dark parts because of a lack of dynamic range. And that's already it from this video. That's how you set a window on fire, how you make a window burn. I really hope hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and also consider subscribing for more filmmaking content just like this video. If you haven't already, of course, and also be sure to turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any of the future videos of this little mini-series. Again, in the next video I'm going to show you how to put some fake digital graffiti on these walls. In the last two videos I showed you how to set some smoke on the roof, how to destroy the building. Here's the final short film and here's the playlist with all the other tutorials on this short film. Until next time, goodbye.